The Star of Soreals by Jeremy Parker Ryan. So long ago, and oh so very far, high in the sky on the brightest of stars, lived two types of folks who did not interact. They lived on their own side of the tracks, matter of fact. One type of these folks was known as so-wants, 'cause they wanted whatever each other would flaunt, while the other type came to be known as so-nots, 'cause they so badly wanted to not be so-wants. The so-wants were interesting in their own right, 'cause they wanted so much that it made up their life. They wanted so much that they lost all their feelings. They filled up their houses with stuff to the ceilings. And when that wasn't enough, well, they went and made more. So they'd make and they'd work and they'd go to the store to get more. Now the so-nots were so afraid of so-wants that instead they just focused on all their own thoughts. So they made so-not clothing and restaurants and homes, horseshoes and bagpipes and so-not trombones. "The so-nots are separate," they'd say with great pride. Then they'd go inside so-not belled houses and hide. One day, a so-not and so-want they crossed paths at a playground that laid near both sides of the track. And the two were so young they did not think to stop from playing together, or at least just to talk. And as they conversed, a so strange thing took place. They began to transform to a new kind of race, to a race that is warm and gentle and kind, to a race that is real, oh so real all the time. But this new race was new, so it scared all the others. So the so-wants and so-nots, their brothers and mothers, all came to these two to see what they could want, or not want, that is, or at least what they thought. "We're not here to judge you, and we're not here to hate, but we've found that it works when we collaborate. Now things are so real," both so-reals exclaimed. "So what do we want? Well, let us explain." "What we want is the way and the truth," said so-reals. "What we want is the life. What we want is to feel. What we want is adventure and tender love too. What we really want is a true friendship with you." The so-wants and so-nots thought this sounded nice, but then the so-reals gave a word of advice. This can only happen if we all cross our tracks, shake hands with each other, and give pats on the backs. Then the so-wants and so-nots, they looked all around. They looked at the sky, at their toes, and the ground. Then they looked at each other, and they started to see that they were the same, like you and like me. And now that the so-nots had opened their hearts, they didn't want so-wants to be set apart. And the so-wants, too, found that all their true wants were fulfilled in a union with all the so-nots. With a burst and a pop, like a spring flower field, the so-nots and so-wants all became so-reals. And they danced and they sang, these so-reals hand in hand. Then they gathered together and they started a band. And they shouted their joy around that whole star, so creation would know of their love near and far. So at night when you turn your small face to the sky, think of so-reals and the new thing they tried. 'Cause living together they made a grand light, and that's why the brightest of stars is so bright.